The world's 20 greatest unsolved mysteries. Have you ever wondered about the mysteries that history has never solved? Imagine entire armies vanishing without a trace, sacred artifacts of immense power disappearing from the world, or ancient knowledge lost forever. These are real enigmas that continue to puzzle historians, archaeologists, and researchers around the globe. In this video, we'll explore 4 of the most powerful and fascinating mysteries that remain unsolved: vanished armies, sacred relics, ancient artifacts, and lost secrets. If you've never seen anything like this, prepare to be amazed. Before we begin, tell us where you're watching from, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and share our channel. Once you start watching, you won't want to look away. Let's dive into the mysteries of the past. 1. The Rangi mummies, Europeans in China's desert. This is the Xinjiang Desert in China. In the 1980s, archaeologists were digging there. What they found weren't just bones. They were mummies, thousands of years old. But here's the twist. These mummies had blonde hair, red hair. Their faces looked European, tall, with narrow noses. Their clothes were strange, too brightly colored, with patterns you'd find in Europe. So the big question is, how did these people end up in the middle of a Chinese desert 4,000 years ago? We always thought ancient China was just, well, Chinese. But these mummies are screaming that the connection between Europe and Asia is way older than we ever imagined. Maybe the Silk Road existed thousands of years before we thought it did. DNA tests confirmed it. They had European ancestry. So what's the real truth? Are our history books wrong? To this day, these mummies sit in a museum in Beijing, and every scientist who sees them just scratches their head. 2. The forgotten Mesoamerican War, the one history deleted. This is in Mexico. Archaeologists there found a massive pit of bones, thousands of them. But these weren't normal bones. They had sword marks, spear tips embedded in them. It was clear. A huge, horrifying war happened here. But here's the weird part. There is no record of this war. No writings, no legends, no carvings. How is that possible? How do you forget a war that big? There are 2 likely answers. First, maybe the war was so horrific, so devastating, that the survivors collectively decided to forget it. A psychological survival mechanism. The second answer is more frightening. Maybe the winners erased the losers completely, wiped them from history itself. So, do we only know the stories of the victors? The losers just ... vanished. Those bones are still there today, silent witnesses to a war nobody remembers. 3. The 3,400-year-old frozen traveler, a cold case murder mystery. The year is 1991. 2 German tourists are hiking in the Alps. They see something sticking out of the ice. They get closer and realize it's a human body. At first, they think it's a modern climber. But when scientists get involved, they realize this body is 3,400 years old. They named him Tsi the Iceman. His clothes, his tools, everything was perfectly preserved. But then, doctors took an X-ray. The revelation: a stone arrowhead was lodged deep in his shoulder. Tsi was murdered. Now the question is, who killed him? A thief? A personal enemy? Or was it some kind of ritual? DNA tells us Tsi was local to that area. He had tattoos on his body, probably for pain relief. This means that 3,400 years ago, people were killing each other. There was politics, there were rivalries. Tsi isn't just a mummy. He's the world's oldest unsolved murder case. And his killer is still out there. 4. The desert kites, a 9,000-year-old mega trap. In the deserts of Jordan, Saudi Arabia, and Syria, if you look from the air, you'll see strange designs on the ground. These are long walls made of stones, sometimes miles long, that end in a circular enclosure. They're called desert kites. They are 9,000 years old. That's thousands of years older than our oldest civilizations. What was their purpose? Experts believe they were giant hunting traps. Imagine this. Ancient hunters would use these long stone walls to slowly herd thousands of wild gazelles or horses. The walls would gently guide the animals into a narrow bottleneck where they would be trapped. Then the hunting was easy. This was a masterpiece of planning. It required the cooperation of hundreds of people. This proves ancient humans weren't primitive or simple. They were large-scale engineers. They could coordinate massive projects. Today, we look at these kites and are left in awe of their ingenuity. 5. The kings who ruled for millennia. Is that even possible? From ancient Iraq, home of the Sumerian civilization, we found clay tablets. On them are lists of kings, and next to their names are their reigns. One king is named Elulim. The tablet says he ruled for 28,800 years. Another ruled for 36,000 years. Now, just think about that. Today, if a king rules for 50 years, it's a big deal. Here they're talking about tens of thousands of years. So, is it true? Can a human live for thousands of years? No, it's impossible. So are the tablets lying? Experts say maybe their year meant our month. Or maybe these numbers represent the rule of an entire dynasty, meaning the house of Alulim ruled for 28,800 years. But there's another idea. Maybe these kings wanted to prove they were gods, so they had these huge numbers written down. So the question remains, are we victims of history's oldest propaganda? Have we been lied to for thousands of years? The tablets are still here, and so is the question. 6. The missing bones of Peking man, science's greatest tragedy. Okay, this one hurts. In the 1920s, in a cave near Beijing, China, scientists found something incredible, bones of an ancient human ancestor. They called it Peking man. These bones were about 500,000 years old and were proof that early humans lived in Asia. They were one of the most important finds ever. Then, World War II happened. To protect them, the bones were packed up to be sent to America for safekeeping. And then ... they vanished. The crate disappeared. Poof, gone. Were they stolen? Lost at sea? Destroyed in bombing? Nobody knows. Think about that. We lost a direct link to our own past. All we have now are plaster casts and old photos. The real bones, with all their secrets, are just ... gone. It's not just a loss for China. It's a loss for all of humanity. It's the ultimate cold case for archaeologists. 7. Europe's oldest living language, a linguistic miracle. Here's a crazy fact. In the mountains between Spain and France, there's a group of people called the Basques. They speak a language called Euskara, and this language is a total mystery. It's not related to Spanish. It's not related to French. It's not related to any other language on Earth. It's completely alone, like an island. Linguists say it as the last surviving language from Europe, before all the other languages like Latin and Germanic swept in thousands of years ago. Who were these people? How did they survive every invasion, every empire, and keep their language alive? Their DNA is also unique. They are living fossils. Speaking Basque is like speaking a code from the Stone Age. It's a living, breathing secret that survived against all odds. 8. The Hopi ant people legend, myth, or forgotten history? The Hopi tribe in the American Southwest tell a fascinating story. They talk about past worlds destroyed by great floods and fire. And each time, they were saved by the ant people. These ant people were wise, lived underground, and gave the Hopi shelter and taught them how to survive. Now, most people hear this and think, it's just a nice legend. But wait, what if it's a memory? A giant flood is a real thing that could happen. Living underground to survive a disaster is a smart idea. Could the ant people have been a real ancient group of survivors? Or a metaphor for finding refuge in caves? The Hopi insist these stories are true history. It makes you wonder, How many other myths are actually history books written in a language we've forgotten how to read? 9. The Viking coin in Maine, the coin that shouldn't be there. Everyone knows Vikings reached Canada, but Maine in the USA, that's way further south. In 1957, on a beach in Maine, an archaeologist found a single small coin. He cleaned it up. It was a Norse coin from the 11th century, a real Viking coin. In America, this tiny object caused a huge problem for history. How did it get there? Did a Viking ship get lost and sail all the way down the coast? Did Native Americans trade for it from Vikings up in Canada, and it traveled hundreds of miles inland? Or is it proof that Vikings explored America way more than we ever thought? The simple answer is, we don't know. That one coin throws a wrench into the neat story we tell about who discovered America. It's a puzzle piece from a map we've lost. 10. The Dancing Girl of Mohenjo-Daro, a 4,500-year-old attitude. In the ruins of Mohenjo-Daro in Pakistan, they found a little statue, just about 4 inches tall. They call her the Dancing Girl. She's not really dancing, though. She's standing with one hand on her hip, her head tilted up. She's wearing just bangles and a necklace. And she has this look, this confident, almost defiant look. She's 4,500 years old, from the Indus Valley civilization. Think about what the rest of the world was like 4,500 years ago. And here, in modern-day Pakistan, an artist made this. It's not a king or a god. It's just a girl. But the detail, the style, the attitude, it's unbelievably modern. This one little statue tells us that this ancient civilization had art. They had style. They observed people. We can't read their writing, so we don't know their names or their stories. But thanks to this girl, we know their spirit. She's not just a statue. She's a person who has looked across 45 centuries and met our gaze. 11. The Hallstatt Graves, Austria's secret in the salt. Have you ever heard of a graveyard that's a time capsule? In a small Austrian village called Hallstatt, buried in the mountains, miners found something unbelievable. Not gold, not treasure, graves. But these weren't ordinary graves. They were filled with things so perfectly preserved. It's like the owners just walked away yesterday. Leather bags, woolen clothes, intricate jewelry, even food. How? Salt. This whole mountain was a salt mine, and salt preserves everything. For over 3,000 years, it kept these bodies and their belongings safe. But here's the real mystery. In many graves, the skulls were carefully removed, arranged, and even painted with patterns. Why? Did they worship their ancestors? Did they believe the skull held the soul? Or was it a way to make space for new bodies? The people of Hallstatt became incredibly rich from the white gold of salt. They traded with Italy and Greece long before Rome was powerful. But they left no grand castles, just these deep, dark, perfect graves. They tell us a silent story of wealth, ritual, and a belief that death was just another room in the house of life. 12. The Olmec colossal heads, the stone giants of Mexico. Deep in the jungles of Mexico, there are heads, giant heads, carved from single blocks of solid basalt rock. Each one is taller than a man, heavier than 2 elephants. They have flat noses, thick lips, and stern, watchful expressions. They wear what look like helmets, and nobody knows who they are. The civilization that made them, the Olmecs, is called Mexico's mother culture. They built these 3,000 years ago. But the real question isn't who they are, it's how. The nearest volcano where this rock comes from is over 50 miles away, through swamps, rivers, and dense jungle, with no wheels, no metal tools, no pack animals. How did they move a 20-ton stone? Even today, it would be a huge engineering challenge. Were they kings, gods, legendary ball players? We have no idea. The Olmecs vanished, leaving only these giant heads as their signature. They didn't write their history on paper. They wrote it in stone, and we still can't read it. They just sit there, staring from the past, guarding a secret we may never solve. 13. The Utsuro-bune, Japan's hollow ship from nowhere. Imagine you're a fisherman on the coast of Japan in 1803. A strange vessel washes ashore. It's round like a floating rice cooker, made of red wood and glass. Inside, you find a beautiful woman. She has red hair, pale skin, and clothes from no culture you recognize. She holds a small box, clutches it tightly, and speaks a language no one understands. The local villagers are terrified. Is she a ghost? A demon? A princess from a sunken kingdom? They do the only thing they can think of. They push the strange hollow ship back into the ocean, and she sails away forever. This isn't a fairy tale. It's recorded in at least 3 Japanese historical documents. So what was it? A damaged Russian ship? A secret Chinese craft? Or something else entirely? In an age before airplanes and global travel, a woman from an unknown place arriving in a perfect sphere was like an alien landing. The Utsuro-bune is Japan's very own, very real UFO story. And the mystery of the woman in the hollow boat is still drifting out there somewhere. 14. The phantom Zeno map, the map that knew too much. Maps are supposed to show what we know, right? But what if a map showed places that shouldn't be known yet? In the 14th century, 2 Venetian brothers named Niccolo and Antonio Zeno claimed to have sailed the North Atlantic. Their map, published later, showed islands like Frisland and Estetiland. For centuries, sailors searched for these lands. They didn't exist. But here's the spooky part. The map also showed parts of Greenland with shocking accuracy. It even hinted at the coastline of North America, almost 150 years before Columbus. So where did the information come from? Did the Zeno brothers have access to secret Viking maps that were lost to the rest of Europe? Did they make it all up based on sailors' tales? Or is it proof that transatlantic knowledge was passed down and then forgotten? The Zeno map is a ghost. It shows a shadow of a world that the history books say wasn't discovered yet. It's either one of history's greatest mistakes or one of its biggest cover-ups. 15. King Arthur, the man who would not be forgotten. Was there ever a real King Arthur? A boy who pulled a sword from a stone? A king who ruled with a round table of knights? The truth is, we have no solid proof. No birth certificate, no signed treaties, no grave. But his story refuses to die. Historians think he might have been a Roman British war leader who fought against Saxon invaders in the dark, chaotic years after Rome abandoned Britain around 500 AD. A man named Artorius. His victories, if they happened, were so brilliant they became legend. Over centuries, the story grew. He gained a wizard, Merlin, a magical sword, Excalibur, and a holy quest, the Grail. So why do we care? Because Arthur represents the ideal. Justice, bravery, a last light in a dark age. He is the hope that someone good will come to save the day. Whether he was flesh and blood, or a dream made real by a people in need, King Arthur's power is undiminished. The search for him isn't just about finding a man. It's about finding the hero we all wish existed. And in that way, he is more real than any historical fact. 16. The Lost Ark of the Covenant, the ultimate treasure hunt. What if the most powerful object in the Bible just vanished? The Ark of the Covenant. It wasn't just a fancy box. The Bible says it held the original 10 Commandments, and it was the literal throne of God on earth. Armies carried it into battle, and legends say it could blast walls and strike people down. It was kept in the Great Temple in Jerusalem. And then, around 600 BC, the city was destroyed, and the Ark? Gone. No record. No trace. So where did it go? Was it hidden by priests in a secret tunnel under the Temple Mount? Was it taken to Egypt? The Ethiopian church claims they have it, guarded in a chapel to this day. Treasure hunters and archaeologists have searched for centuries. But think about this. If it was that powerful, maybe hiding it was the point. Maybe its power was too dangerous for anyone to possess. The search for the Ark isn't just about gold or history. It's a search for divine power itself. And that's a secret that might be better off staying lost. 17. The Kensington Runestone, the rock that rewrites history. In 1898, a Swedish immigrant farmer in Minnesota, USA, was clearing trees. His axe hit a rock. He dug it up. It was flat and covered in strange carved symbols. Runes, ancient Viking writing. The message was chilling. It told of 30 Viking explorers who came here from Scandinavia in the year 1362. It described a bloody attack, with 10 men left red with blood. This stone claimed Vikings were in the heart of America, over 100 years before Columbus. If it's real, everything we know about who discovered America is wrong. But is it real? For over a century, experts have fought. Linguists say the runes are too modern. Geologists say the weathering looks fake. But why would a simple farmer forge it? How would he even know how? And why did other Norse artifacts turn up nearby? This stone is on trial. It's either the most important archaeological find in North America, or the most successful hoax. The stone sits in a museum now, silently accusing our history books of lying. 18. Alexander's vanished army, the 50,000 who disappeared. Alexander the Great conquered the world from Greece to India, but his most famous story might be a loss. In 325 BC, after a brutal campaign in what is now Pakistan and India, Alexander led his army back through the Jedrosian Desert, modern Iran. The historian Plutarch writes that a sudden, monstrous sandstorm swallowed an entire wing of his army. We're talking about 50,000 men. Veterans, wives, children, camp followers. An entire city on the march. They vanish without a single grave, weapon, or coin left behind. How is that possible? Did the desert literally bury them alive in one night? Did hostile tribes ambush and erase them? Or is the story a cover-up for a massive military defeat Alexander wanted to hide? Modern satellite images show ancient riverbeds under that desert. Did his army, desperate for water, follow a dry river into a trap? To this day, no one has found a mass grave. It's history's largest missing persons case. 50,000 people walked into a desert and never walked out. 19. The Great Serpent Mound, America's giant earth mystery. In Ohio, USA, on a quiet ridge, the earth itself rises to form a shape, a giant serpent. It's over 1,300 feet long. That's longer than 3 football fields. You can't see it from the ground. You have to be up in the air. It was built nearly 1,000 years ago by a mysterious culture we call the Fort Ancient People. They moved millions of baskets of soil by hand to create this perfect coiling snake. Its head points to the setting sun on the summer solstice. Its coils align with other solar events. This wasn't a fort or a town. It was a massive, open-air calendar and temple. But why a snake? In many ancient cultures, the snake symbolized rebirth and the earth. Was this a message to the gods? A map of the stars? Or a warning? The most haunting part, they built it on the edge of a massive, ancient meteor crater. Did they know? Were they marking a sacred, cosmic wound in the earth? The Serpent Mound doesn't give answers. It just lies there, a question made of grass and soil, waiting for us to understand. 20. Everest's lost 1924 climbers, the first to the top. Everyone knows Sir Edmund Hillary was the first to summit Everest in 1953. But what if he wasn't? In 1924, George Mallory and Andrew Irvine set out for the top. They were last seen alive through a telescope. As a cloud cleared, 2 tiny dots going strong for the top. Then the clouds closed, and they were never seen again. For 75 years, It was the greatest mountain mystery. Did they fall? In 1999, climbers found Mallory's body, frozen and perfectly preserved. His sunglasses were in his pocket. He had severe rope injuries from a fall. But the photo of his wife he promised to leave on the summit wasn't on him. Where was it? Where was Irvine's body? And most importantly, where was their camera? If that camera is ever found, the film inside could be developed. It could show a photo from the top of the world, taken 29 years before Hillary. Mallory's body was found, but the truth died with him. The summit of Everest keeps its oldest secret locked in ice. Thank you for joining us on this journey through some of the world's greatest unsolved mysteries. If you enjoyed this video, please like, subscribe, and share with your friends to support the channel. We encourage you to leave your thoughts and feedback in the comments below. Remember, all images, videos, and information used in this video are for educational purposes, taken from public domain, royalty-free, or properly attributed sources. No copyright infringement is intended, and all rights belong to their respective owners. Stay curious, keep exploring, and join us next time for more astonishing historical enigmas.